Man, I want to tell you a little bit about something that happened to me in my life, man. I tell you, I made a whoopsie. No, but for real, I did. I made a whoopsie. I made a whoopsie. That's how I talk when I'm talking about something in my life that was quite weird and it was embarrassing that what happened to me. And I'm about to share that with you guys. And I hope you enjoyed my little voice. But yeah, you probably saw the title and you're wondering, how did this occur? What time in your life was this? And was it a good experience? And I will answer that by saying no, it was not a good experience. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. Um, yeah, I was a young kid and I had some issues with my stomach and I had lots of poo poo issues. So that was just kind of part of my life at that time, and nothing really helped. I tried Tums, I tried different over the counter medications, and none of that helped me. So, yeah, I was outside one day. I was playing basketball with my brother. Me and my brother really loved basketball. It was our favorite sport. It's still my favorite sport, but I'm like LA Lakers with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm not up to speed with the current roster of players, but yeah, basketball is our favorite sport. So we were just always playing basketball outside. And one day, we were up in Pennsylvania with my grandfather, and we went there every summer. And my grandfather took us to a little park, and we would play basketball at that park all the time. It was our favorite little spot. He was always better than me. My brother's better than me at literally everything, though. He's like, when I play against him in Call of Duty, he always destroys me every single time. We'll 1v1 and it ends me every time. I can't keep up with his skill. But one thing that is good about that is it'll improve my skill level as we play. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too mad about it. But anyway, we're outside playing basketball, just having the time of our lives, shooting some shots, making some scores. I was getting like free throws, like 1 out of every 10 I'd actually make it. My brother I think he was dunking, or he was close to dunking. I'm not sure how his vertical leap was at that time, but he was dunking on some of the goals that we had. But yeah, our favorite things at that time were basketball and wrestling. We would always watch wrestling with my grandfather. He would put it on Monday Night Raw on the television, and we had like Rikishi, Mankind, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, all those original guys. I was born in 1995, so I had a lot of those OG guys, and that's what we watched. And we would always watch the All-Star games of the NBA, and we never really dabbled in like college basketball or anything like that. It was mostly just NBA and wrestling were our favorite things. And we would religiously watch that stuff, and we'd play basketball. I remember one time I broke my ankle, and when I was almost healed, I still had the cast on, but I actually tried to play basketball before my ankle even healed. So it was kind of something that I was really determined to get good at, but I never got good at it. Now, one thing I will get good at is Arsenal and COD Mobile. I'm going to practice a lot of COD Mobile online so I can start using footage from me playing online. But anyway, we were outside playing basketball at this little park, and we lived in a little town called Claysville. And in Claysville, there's a little candy shop across the street from the little basketball park that we were playing at, and we would always go in there and get candy all the time. I think it was right next to a video rental place, and we used to rent games. If you don't know anything about video rental, dude, Blockbuster, all that stuff, you really missed out, dude. Those were the good old days, dude. They had this thing that would like clean the scratches off of your discs and stuff like that, and they would do it for free. There was a lot of perks to going there and renting games, and that was always the way for me to play mature games, because I wasn't allowed to play mature games because of my stepfather, who was just absolutely a terrible person in every single way. But yeah, I would get mature games from the Blockbuster. It was great. But yeah, we would rent games from that little store, and we'd go in the candy store and get candy, and they had drinks and stuff like that. Well, I decided that day I wanted a Yoo-Hoo. If you don't know what Yoo-Hoo is, it's like a chocolate drink. I saw someone make a Yoo-Hoo by mixing chocolate syrup with water, which is a very good way to describe how the flavor is. It's probably my favorite chocolate drink on the face of the earth, though. It's so freaking smooth and silky. It's the best chocolate flavor out of any drink. I prefer it over chocolate milk, honestly. It's that good, but it was really, really hot outside that day, and the sun was beating down on us, and I drank that Yoo-Hoo. I basically chugged it, and I started to play basketball after I chugged it, and maybe 30 minutes to an hour later, I noticed that my stomach started feeling really weird, and I was like, oh my God, I'm having more issues. And if you don't know, when you're in the hot summer heat and you drink some like chocolate milk or something like that, it'll absolutely wreck your stomach. And it's just not a good idea at all to do that. But that's what I did. I chugged the Yoo-Hoo, and it was really hot outside, and I ended up feeling really weird in my stomach, and I thought, oh my God, here it goes again. And I was like, oh my God, there's not even a bathroom nearby. And nowhere I looked, there was no bathroom. None of the stores had bathrooms. Well, at least we didn't think they did. But anyway, I went across the street from the basketball court because we had gone to the candy store, we went shopping, we got all the stuff that we wanted to get, and then we went back across the street to the basketball court. And that's when we started playing basketball again. But my stomach started feeling weird, so I went back across the street to the little candy store. And let me tell you, man, that was one of the worst people I have ever met in my entire life. I tell you what, one of the worst. I don't know if that is a good voice or not. I just do it because it's funny to me. I don't know. I just do weird voices. But anyway, the person was absolutely terrible, and I'm about to tell you why they were terrible. They were the worst. I asked them, I was like, do you guys have a bathroom? And they said, yes, we do, but you're not allowed to use it. And I was very sad. And I was like, please let me use the bathroom because I have to go. It's an emergency. And if I don't, something really bad's going to happen. And they didn't care at all. They were like, no, you're not going to use the bathroom. Sorry, it's for employees only. So you're just going to tough it out, tough luck. And I was like, oh my God, thank you very much for putting me in such a compromising situation. The worst situation I think I've been in probably in my entire life. But I always say that about a lot of things, like, oh, this is the best thing in my entire life, this is the worst thing in my entire life, which isn't always true. That's just one of the things that I say about stuff like this, which it was really bad. Anyway, so I was like, okay, maybe I can just clench my cheeks and hope for the best and hope that nothing happens. And I did that for a while, maybe about an hour, and it was fine. I was holding it in. Everything was going smoothly. I had stopped playing basketball at that point because there was no way I was going to adequately play basketball with my brother because I was suffering basically in hell because of my stomach and what was going on with my stomach. But I started to feel the urge to have to go poop. And I really thought, man, that would be great if I could use that bathroom. But anyway, we called my grandfather to come pick us up, and he was on his way, but it took him maybe 15 minutes to get there. So we had to wait a really long time, and it was just not good at all. And my stomach was just absolutely wrecked at that point. It was getting worse and worse progressively throughout the time that we were spending outside, and the sun was beating down on me. I was probably sunburnt. I was cooking, man. I was cooking like a fried egg on a cast iron skillet, bro. It was the worst freaking pain in my stomach that I felt. Probably the something that I can compare to that would probably be like food poisoning. Food poisoning is probably a little bit worse, but it got really bad, and I started feeling the urge. I was like, oh my God, I really have to poop, and no one's letting me use the bathroom, and my grandfather's going to take 15 minutes to get here, so I just sat there and suffered, clenched my cheeks, and hoped for the best. And my brother was like, are you alright, dude? You going to be okay? And I was like, man, I really don't know at this point. And he kind of just kept playing basketball, shooting hoops, kind of pretending nothing was going on, even though his little brother was absolutely suffering in the worst hell imaginable, and he just kind of kept playing basketball. And anyway, there was a kid. So this kid started riding up on his bike. And at that time, my grandfather also started to pull up. And that kid just rode up on his bike. Oh, and another thing, I was wearing my brand new basketball shorts, dude. I got a new basketball outfit, a new tank top, and new basketball shorts. I was really proud of them. And I felt so cool in them. I felt like an NBA star. And it was the best, dude. But my grandfather pulls up, and the kid's riding on his bike. At this point, the kid stops on his bike, and my stomach at that point was beyond control. And yeah, the kid stopped on his bike. My grandfather pulls up, and right at that moment, I felt something come out, and something started traveling down my leg, and it was basically diarrhea. And yeah, so I pooped myself, and it was running down my leg. Okay, I was like 11 years old. I was really young, but it was running down my leg, and the kid was like, "What is that?" And dude, he saw it, and it was the most embarrassing experience of my life, dude. But yeah, that's what happened, and I had to get in the car and ride home covered in my own filth. It was really a bad time. But yeah, I saw Moist Critical do a video about him pooping himself at a Deftones concert, so I had to do my own video about me pooping myself. I just thought it would be really funny to share this with you guys. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being the best community I could ever ask for. It's a small community, but it's a good community. And it brings me a lot of joy to be here. It brings me a lot of joy to share stories with you guys and just share content and create something awesome. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the best freaking year of my life. Hope you enjoyed that story, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.